Welcome to On the Nose. This week is part 2 of hanging out with Garret. If you did not catch the first part, it was posted up last week, pretty easy to find, episode 38. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. Talk to you next week.
So I would like to say, so here's my flag. Till Valhalla. The Till Valhalla project is bringing awareness to the ridiculous numbers. 22 veterans a day kill themselves. And I lost my train of thought. Like, where do we?
We're talking about
People.
helping, being
you were
helped,
talking
and
about
yeah.
So I have no idea why I got your video. It was the throwing the candles in the bonfire. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I love this lady. And like, holy cow. And just some of the stuff you put out is so amazing. And I share it and I send it to my friends in PMs or DMs or messages, and like I appreciate it so much. And I share it. I share it out to all my veteran buddies. I repost it on my page. So I hope that helps you feel good about it, because truly that stuff, I like try to explain you to people, and I'm like, she's got this really kind of dark humor, but not really. It's like you have military humor, but with butterflies.
Yeah. I've always gotten along really well with military people, so it doesn't surprise me. Like when I lived in San Diego, all my writing buddies were military people
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And we always just sat around, talk shit and stuff. But yeah, I appreciate I have been in this weird like I post stuff, but then like nobody really says anything, but people are sharing it. So like I guess people like it. It's like weird, right? So it's really nice to sometimes just have somebody be like, your post that makes my day, or I really look forward to seeing that. And it makes me feel good about it. I do it because I have fun doing it. The fact that it has a positive impact on other people is just like amazing.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? I would truly go beyond saying it's made my day. I think you've literally saved people's lives with your posts and your humor and different things like that. It's just off the wall and just in your face and funny and weird and awesome. And the microwave.
Dude. Yeah. That
Yeah.
yeah, I
I
love
try
that one.
to
It's
I
one of
try
my
to text
favorite.
people about it. I try to text people about it, and I'm like, it's so funny. She says microwave.
And
Hmm. And they're like,
it,
wow, microwave, so funny.
yeah, and then the puppet, like that puppet, like either people love him or they're totally creeped out by him because he has no facial features, right? But I kept
Right.
him like that because my friend sent me the puppet figuring I would ornament put stuff on him,
Yeah.
except he kind of looks like a penis, and that's really funny to me because TikTok's really strict about that stuff. So it's a little bit
Uh-huh.
of a like in the cheek humor there, but
Uh-huh.
but also he's different. He's a puppet, but he doesn't fit in because and that like because of my autism, I like it very much like that appeals to me as well because there's like a meaning in there that either you get it or you don't get it. But he just sometimes he works so well for like certain sounds, and I use him for anything like kind of pervy as well, because he's really good at
Mm.
biting his finger. Like,
What, like the whole Comedy Central had that perverted Rottweiler dog that would
oh
go and
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. Wasn't he
I
on
forget.
Conan, like on
Yeah,
Conan show? Yeah, I
yeah,
don't remember his name, but yeah.
yeah. It was off. And now they got that Kermit the Frog on Omegle or something, and he was like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And he like puts up a cucumber, and it's just like, because it's always like, I, not
Yeah,
weirdos, but there's some unique people out there, and
yeah.
you just see Kermit, and then you're like, "It's Kermit the Frog," and
And then
then
it's
you're
something like,
focusing
yeah.
on Kermit, but then over here is Miss Piggy tied up with duct tape on her mouth or something, and they're like,
Yeah. Yeah, there's like I never liked Elmo when my son was little. I just always found Elmo very annoying. And like I love the fact that there's all these like people who grew up with Elmo that are really good at doing the Elmo voice, and then they just talk shit. And it's so
mm-hmm.
funny. Like just the super angry, negative, like crude Elmo. And
Yeah, yeah. I just I like, what is our rating here? Like, I
what do
don't
you do?
condone anything like that, but there's a Bert and Ernie that talk about uh like how the war affects you, and he's like, Bert, it really wasn't the war that messed me up. It was the peacetime, having all the training and having all this, and you know, that's why there's dead hookers in this attic. Like, but yeah, it's just, oh my gosh, when I was a kid, we lived on like 200 acres. Like that, it wasn't all. I don't. I think we only had an acre or two, but then my great grandpa owned this part, and then my other family owned the stuff across the street, and we had a sand pit, and we had a sand hill, and then we had a pond, and like all the swamp and all kinds of stuff out there. And one day, me and my brother just walked. We were walking and walking and looking and walking, and we got to the sand hill. Wow, where did I come out here? So I'm just sitting here banging a rock on another rock. And when you do that, it makes like a talc powder, just
Yeah.
powdered rock, like a real fine sand. And he comes over, he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's bugging me and bugging me and bugging me. "What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm making drugs." He looks at it, he's like, "Whoa, that, that's that's cool. You should sell to Russell on the bus." The guy that came on the bus that made everything smell earthy. I don't know. His cologne was horrible. And I was like, "I do. Where do you think he gets his stuff from?" And he's like, "I'm gonna tell mom." Like, go ahead. She drives me. "I'm gonna tell the police." Like, go ahead. I hide it in your room. And like I pushed it to the point where he got scared and he starts crying. But we're like you said, 200 acres. We're like 3/4 of a mile, half a mile away. And I'm older. And he starts running, going to tell on me. And I start running and I pass him and I get to the house first and come in, sit on the table. My mom's rolling cigarettes. Like, hey, in my head, the timer's going. He's gonna get here. He's gonna get here. She's gonna be so mad. I gotta say something. "Hey, ma, uh, did something bad." She was like, Okay. What? Well, I was bored. We did the walk. We did the thing. I had the rock. I was smashing the rock. I told Donnie I was making drugs, and I had him in his room, and you drive me, and blah 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 blah. And then he comes in the door, ah, 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 and like she comes up, he comes up, and he's like, "Yeah, he's selling drugs, blah 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 blah." And my mom goes like this. I know. Don't say a word. Get up to your room. And he starts running up the stairs bawling. And I'm like, yes. And like I was like here, and then wow, off the table, off the chair, like, what the hell are you thinking? And my mom passed almost 8 years ago now. And wonderful Cinco de Mayo. No, but I told the story at her funeral, and it was just such a amazing, like loving, and just the sense of humor. It was just amazing. I had so much fun growing up with that. Uh, just it was wild. She just I know that one came
Yeah.
out. Could you
Yeah.
see it? Like I'm getting bigger.
No. Yeah. My mom has a sense of humor, but I don't know where she puts it because she doesn't access it very often. She's just I always described her as an anger beast. Her default was anger. So like I'd wait until she got home and smoke some weed before like I would come out to talk to her because she was way less likely to be mad if I waited for her to have her weed first, you know. But like my adopted dad, he always had a good sense of humor, especially like potty humor. So we'd sit around, make fart noises and quote
Mhm.
Ren and Stimpy and you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. But so what you used to ride?
Yeah.
Uh okay.
Yeah, when I got sick, I sold my bike to pay for medical bills and stuff and
Yeah.
just never, like I might at some point if I get better enough and I had the money, I might get another bike, but I used to do track days and stuff like that. So, like more sports bikes, not too into cruisers because I like the lean and
The feel
corners.
and the
Yeah.
G force and like
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm like, like I have a Miata. I like precision. I like driving. So
Hmm.
for me, like, I always those are the kind of bikes I always enjoyed. But like I grew up like my parents rode. So my mom, I was second generation female rider. There's more of us now, but there weren't that many when I
Oh
was
yeah.
younger. And
Right.
so like my mom had a Goldwing and my mom's ex had a couple different bikes. He had one that was like a fully custom. It looked like a chopper, but it had a Honda engine. So it like kind of at that time, if you went to like to do the rides on Sunday, like Hondas weren't really welcome. You had to have like a Harley or else. And
Hmm.
so there'd be like almost fights and stuff like that around the snobbery. I
Yeah.
That's something that I really am glad at least in California, people have outgrown that, and it's like if you ride, you ride. It doesn't matter what you ride, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could break it. I bet I could. Like uh after I came home from Iraq and you got like I had a tumor here and it was a parathyroid adenoma and it was the size of a black walnut, which is about that. And it removed the calcium from my bones and it caused stuff I ate to just turn to fat. So I gained like 80 pounds like immediately and it was horrific. But once I kind of just bubbled, I bought a moped and like a giant Power Ranger type helmet, and like
Mhm.
I would ride it and we go up the railroad tracks, and it would like bottom out,
Yeah.
like oh
I
yeah,
So I have a buddy. He's a big guy, and he's got a little moped as well that bottoms out when he rides it, and he has an Iron Man helmet. And he used to be in the
Nice.
army, and he like it's pretty. I would see him around town every now and again, like on his bike, and just be like, haha, that's so funny. He's having a good time. You could just tell he's just having a good time on there.
Hmm. I lived in Killeen, Texas for a while, and like I said, I did drama in high school, but then I I finally worked up enough courage to try to be a real drama guy, and I went to the community theater there, and I got a part, and I was like, "Whoa, I wasn't just the best grade crayon in my high school." And yeah, it was like really cool, and I made a connection with another army guy who wasn't as big as me, but he was a big guy, and he went to go buy a car down in Austin, and I rode with him, and oh my gosh, the car dealership had a smart car for sale also. Like, gosh, that thing was so tiny. I had never gotten in and looked and did all the things, and I was like, Jeremy, we got to get this and roll like Gabriel Iglesias. It's the Fat and the Furious. Like we'll just like put speakers underneath and like but yeah, it would have been so much fun, but no, he got an Impala. You could fit everything in that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's actually surprising how some of those small cars, the way they design your interior, has more space than you would expect it to.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I got in the smart car and I had room. Like I had more room in a smart car than I had in our Scion IA when that came out. It's now I think Toyota bought it, but
Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, it was just how does this little tiny fancy golf cart have more room than my sedan?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just cool. It was fun. He is like he or she
He-
he he was like focused at you like really hard, like, hey, you know it's time to eat. Huh?
Yeah,
You
he's
get some
giving me
food.
the love eyes.
Yeah, right. But yeah, how old's your son?
He's 26.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. So I had him when I was 21.
Okay.
And yeah.
Yeah, I had a friend in high school, and she had a kid in high school, and she had her on my birthday, and she's 19 now, getting ready to be 20. And for the longest time, we just called her the teenager. So when I go to Starbucks, I get my friend a coffee, and then they're like, "What's the name?" And I put something crazy, and then what's the other name? I was like,
The
the
teenager.
teenager.
That's
Yeah, but
funny.
yeah, I have a dog and a ferret, Momo. He's in my head. My dog calls him murder squirrel.
Ferrets are crazy.
Oh my gosh, they're so much fun. Love
Yeah.
them. And yeah, it's we had two, and they passed over the years, and then we took a break and packed up all the ferret stuff into our big giant ferret cage, and then we we were walking through Petco because that's where the pets go, and there was one ferret there. All right, let's look at it. And he was just so awesome. I was like, you know what? All right, can I see the paperwork on him? And they're like, yeah. And I don't even know why I asked, because they never give you anything important.
Yeah.
And they brought me the paperwork, and I looked at it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And I handed it to my wife. And I said, "Look at this." And she looked at it, and she's like, "Me and the ferret shared a birthday."
Oh.
Well, they give you like a range. We're
Yeah.
like, "Yep, yep, it's March 6th,
Yeah.
definitely."
Hey, that's funny.
And
It's
then,
just that's my where I'm staying, my friend, his birthday is March 6th.
oh, cool, yeah.
Yeah.
So we got me, your friend, my ferret,
And the
my
teenager.
yeah, the teenager, and we'll have to tag the bottom at the teenager. But and then my aunt, she had a daughter on March 6th also. I was 11, so on her 10th birthday, my 21st, they always joked that I was gonna come and do the party, so I wasn't off drinking or getting crazy.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we went to the mall and we got dressed up with all the. There was like this princess store with the makeovers and whatever. So we went, me, my dad, and then we took her other kid, which was a son, who was like 4 maybe at that point, and we brought him to Hooters and got him pictures with all the. Like, it was horrible. It's just like so grody. Why would we do something like that? Ew. But yeah, it's amazing, like just how much you think and change throughout your life. Uh,
Yeah. The things that you're normalized to that eventually you look at it and you go, maybe not.
what's what's wrong with you people? Like, yeah, my joke growing up was I'm Irish, Polish, and German. I always thought those were my main. Not even close, but yeah, that was always my main thing. And the Irish hate the Polish hate the Irish, and the Germans hate everybody. So I was like, you know what? I was born to drink and hate people. That was my thing in the army. Like, yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's just been all kinds of fun things.
Yeah.
Meow. There's a couple on Facebook, and they do videos, and the first video I seen was the point of view, and you just hear meow, and then you see a foot step on the chair, and then the next foot step on the table, and then meow, 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 and then she like pushes his coffee off the table and slams it, and the cup breaks all over, and it's just like, you guys are
Yeah.
acting like cats, and it's just everybody uh shows their creativity, their art in different ways. And I love making people think about that.
Yeah.
When I'm on forums or chat rooms or whatever, I'll post, "How do you art?" And they're like, "What? What do you
Yeah.
mean? Like, do you sing? Do you write? Do you cook? Do you paint? Do you dance? Like, that is all art. Like,
Yep.
everybody arts a different way."
Yeah, I
So,
that's one of the things that like I it took me a long time to join TikTok, and then when I did, I originally joined it actually because no one else I knew was using it, and I wanted to work on my podcast, and I wanted somewhere to practice talking and taking up space before I started working on the podcast. But that
mhm.
turned into me making friends and then getting into the puppets and then the face paint. It like, you know, but I very quickly came to enjoy like the diversity of self-expression that's on there, and like the one thing that TikTok has that's really unique from all the other social media sites is the duetting functionality so that you can, duet somebody else. And like, that's always like, that's so much fun because it's kind of like you're just playing in the sandbox with other people, and I think
Right.
that's neat.
Yeah. It's like you find a new technology to do old things.
Yeah.
It's Minecraft. I love Minecraft, and my wife's like, "That's a kid's game." I'm like, "No, it's not. It's an everybody game. It's like playing with Legos that you don't have to pick up,
Yeah. Or step on.
right?" Well, yeah, we've also played the tabletop, the RPGs. So we've stepped on some D4s also. That's miserable. And
Yeah.
then all those memes. Oh, you stepped on a Lego? I'm sorry.
I like the shark one. The shark's head's thrown back after it steps on a Lego.
That is awesome. He is so loving it.
Yeah.
Um,
He's not a super cuddly cat, but every now and again, and he's been like, I think because he's not feeling well today, so he's been a little more needy. But I'll
mhm,
take it. It like when the first year I had him, he almost never sat on me, but the last couple of months he started like sitting on me more and stuff. But like
mhm.
a lot of times if he lays on me, if you touch him, he starts biting you. So like it's like too much stimuli. I will lay here, but you cannot touch me.
Yeah. My dad, I don't know what it is, but animals hate him. Like it's just not a thing. And there's a cat at my aunt's house that hates everybody. And my dad came in and sat down, and the cat ran up and sat on his lap. And everybody's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm the
it's,
animals love me. So like even the cats that hide from everybody will come out for me and then the owners are like, "What the heck?" Like
do you have a piece of salmon in your pocket?
just have like
Yeah.
a I think I'm just chill enough that they feel safe.
Hmm. Yeah. My current dog, I feel so bad. My dad drives the city bus, and I drive around a lot with my dog to company, and she hates him. She hates him. And he'll see us like park and pull up, and he gets excited, and he's bragging to his riders. Oh, that's my son. Him and my grand dog. And like the lady comes off with a cane, and that's weird for a dog. And she's so happy to see her and lovey. And then the next person comes out in a wheelchair, and she's just like, "Whoa!" And then she sees my dad and starts growling and barking and like crazy. And everybody's like, "You sure that's your grand dog?" I was like, "Yeah, she's just a real good judge of character."
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah,
Not really.
I used to have a dog and he was like he always seemed really chill with people and then it I found out that if I would leave the room, if the person was an anxious person, he would corral them and corner them and keep them there. Not violently, just you know.
Yeah,
So
just kind of like,
yeah, like there's something about that nervous energy that he didn't
mhm,
he didn't like and I had no idea because he never behaved that way with me. Like dogs are
right.
very like obedient with me. And but as soon as I'd leave the room, he'd be like, "All right, well you're going to stay over there." And like
This is my house.
my friend crashed at my place and that my dog wouldn't let him lay on the couch. And I was like, wow, why didn't you come and get me? Because I would have come down and like brought him up. And instead you
Uh,
spent the whole night like sleeping on the floor to placate the dog. Like,
my the first dog we ever had as adults, my first dog, uh, he had this thing about being in the crate and not being able to see you. Uh, and we had a friend come over and watch him so we could go do whatever for a weekend. And we call the next day, like, hey, how was it? And he's like, I haven't slept yet. And we're like, what? Why? He's like, Chance has been barking the entire night. And I'm like, what do you mean you let our dog bark all night? What happened? Well, I put him in his cage. Where's the cage? Well, in your room. Like, he's lonely. He'll lay
Yeah.
on the bed with you and cuddle. And yeah, he opened the crate and the dog just went and fell asleep. He was exhausted.
Yeah. No kidding.
He just barked for 4 weeks straight. It's always wild thinking about time and how it's relative to everything. Like when you're having a good time, time flies. When you're just bored, it takes forever. But
Yeah.
even more so with cats and dogs. Like 1 year in human years is 7 years for an average dog. Well, that breaks down 1 minute is 7 minutes, or 1 hour is 7 hours. And that's why your pets actually sleep so much, because that's half a day. They think
Yeah.
we're nuts for staying up 3 weeks. But yeah. What gosh, I don't know. I think I'm running out of things.
Yeah, I'm starting to get tired. Like I'm ready to lay down for a while. This not eating enough thing is there's not enough gas in the tank.
With the pancreatitis and all of that, we found so there's the Ensure, but there's Ensure juice. I don't know if you've seen those. They have like watermelon, pomegranate, and whatever, and it's just like the same, except it tastes better.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I've been afraid to do anything that has like sugar in it because they think my gallbladder is part of it, but they think that I might also have
mhm.
SIBO, and then like the sugar would feed that and make it worse. So
Okay,
yeah. So it's like
yeah,
I'm
my
basically eating like white rice and a little bit of chicken, but I literally have like no appetite, and like eating makes my heart like palpitate, and it's just really
mhm.
uncomfortable. And then if I eat more, then my symptoms are worse the next morning. They like wake me up and stuff. So it's, I'm just waiting to get
Miserable.
I'm waiting to get some meds to see with some antibiotics to see if they help.
Hmm.
Um, I'm basically just trying to like roll out what it is because the only test that's shown anything is the gallbladder test, but I don't
Hmm.
want to get my gallbladder removed unless it's really clear that that's the cause of my symptoms. Because
Hmm.
as much as like everyone's like, oh, it's so easy to get your gallbladder removed and you can live without it 20% up to 20% of people have like lifelong issues afterwards, and nobody talks about that. And I have really
Yeah,
bad luck. I'm going to end up being one of the 20%. I just know it. So I'd like to not go through that, like if I don't have to.
we uh we just had she just had her first surgery after having her gallbladder out, and it it was wild. Like she she recovers from anesthesia like nothing. Like she comes in and she's like, "Hey, what's up?" Like
Yeah. I'm
right,
like
like
that with anesthesia too. It doesn't, I'll wake up before they expect me to and stuff. It just doesn't stick.
yeah. Normally she wakes up and she's able to warn the nurses before they push her into the waiting room where I'm at. Like they always bring you back into the room and pack you or wherever. And she normally warns them. And this time she didn't. And she starts pushing her in. They're like, "Hey, we got so and so with us." And I'm like, "Who?" I'll look at her and I'm like, "No, my wife's Gloria. Where is she? What'd you do? Is she okay?" And the nurse is like, But yeah, gosh, I hope they get that figured out. But I absolutely do agree. Um, she had she had a really really rough uh recovery. Uh, Probably like five. It took her five times as long to recover and like get there. And I would ask her stupid questions that sounded real, to kind of gauge. Like I was like, "Hey, don't forget we're going to your sister's birthday tomorrow," and she'd be like, "Yeah, okay." And then a little
Yeah.
while later, I would say something, you know, "We gotta go feed the cat," and then she's like, "Oh, okay." And then
Yeah.
later on, she's like, "Wait, we don't have a cat. It's not my sister's birthday. What are you talking about?" I was like, "Okay, you're here. Awesome.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
what?"
it's not even like the direct like post surgery, it's the impact on the digestion, like
Yeah.
after like there are people who just basically just have chronic diarrhea for the rest of their lives after and can't
Hmm.
eat anything and chronic nausea and bile reflux and just all these like side effects and they just do the surgery and don't even warn you like at all. It's crazy.
Yeah. I know a couple people that have issues with certain types of food after their gallbladder. And like, if you have issues with food, like, don't expect the full trip or whatever if you're going to eat that food. Like,
Yeah,
like it just if just be like, hey, no, let's go eat here instead. Like,
yeah,
don't try to suffer through. Like, no, I will absolutely change my plans to. You're not a burden to people. Anybody, don't think you're a burden. People get low self esteem, and then they're just like, "Oh no, I was gonna go do this with them, but I'm slower, or I'm like I can't eat that, or whatever." And like, guys, ladies, these people around you are around you for a reason. They chose
yeah.
to be with you. Don't take their choice.
Man, when I first got sick, like I tried really hard to kind of like accommodate other people instead of the other way around. So my 40th birthday, I sat there with a smoothie because I was on a liquid diet while I watched everybody eat burritos. And I went in the bathroom and cried and didn't tell anybody. And not a single person thought maybe this is not what we should be doing. It was,
Right.
and it was hard. Like I went to several outings where like it was like that, where it was supposed to be celebrating me, but they wanted to do what they wanted to do, and there was no offer of accommodation for me,
Hmm.
and it was
Yeah.
and I just stopped attending events after that. I just went, no, I'm not comfortable being around you guys while you're eating salads when I'm on a liquid diet, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Like, let's go to Smoothie King, guys.
yeah,
Like,
or everybody eat first and come hang out after, or
right.
like just like making me smell
Yeah.
stuff I can't have. It's hard.
Yeah. And it's not everybody thinks about it. And I don't know, like, we actually, my wife is a cheese fanatic, and we would cook chili and different things, and people would crush up their crackers, put them in the chili, and then stick their hand in our cheese. So we started having to get multiple bags of cheese. We used to buy like the 5 pound bags of cheese because it was just, we're going to use it all before it goes bad. Because every other meal she eats chips and cheese because I'm an adult and I can eat what I want.
If her
That's
body
why I have
lets
pretty
her, then
bubbles.
yeah,
Right? And like people try, and still to this day, I mean, what is it, like 6 years, 5, 6 years of living in a gluten free or nothing gluten in the house? I will still mess up and like I don't know, like break something.
Yeah.
We have made a couple changes in the house. Um, I gotta have like a wet burrito, and so I have a package of flour burrito tortillas, and that's in a certain spot on a certain shelf, and nothing else goes on that shelf. And I'll pull it out and I'll lay my burrito out, and then I'll hold it, and she'll put the meat, and she'll do the cheese, and like it's fine. It's still an awesome burrito. And then it's really hard for our family because they want to do something nice. They want to go out of their way. They want to make you a gluten-free meal.
Hmm.
Well, she is so sensitive that you use your pan that you made grilled cheese on last week, she's going to get sick.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that. Like, she's so bad that she got sick when I took the ketchup bottle and used it for my burger. This was way back in the beginning. And then she grabbed the ketchup bottle and put it on her lettuce wrap burger. And then she ate it with her hands and she didn't wash and she got gluten from
From
the
the, yeah.
bottle.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how?
Yeah. I'm allergic to allium, which is onions, garlic, chives, everything in that family. And it is so hard to accommodate that because like people use that stuff in everything.
Onion salt? Yeah, that's in
Yeah.
everything.
It's like it's so hard to avoid. So there's a lot of stuff that I just like I make my own pasta sauces and stuff because I can't just go buy it. There's one brand that makes a no garlic, no allium pasta sauce, but it's like $12 for a bottle. So,
Right?
I'll buy it when it's on sale or if they have it at Costco, but otherwise like I just make my own. Um and I have to like if I go somewhere like a sandwich place, I have to ask them to use a clean cutting board and change the gloves and and it's like a whole thing.
Yeah, I had a situation with a sandwich shop that made gluten-free sandwiches. We went there like 6 times within a month. The seventh time I go in, and I was horrified later to find out that the guy that made our sandwich was the actual store manager, and it was brutal. Like, everybody else that had made our sandwiches had made it back here on the gluten-free counter with all
Yeah.
the gluten-free stuff. They had their own stuff. The manager of the store cut the bread, put the meat on, and then he brought it over to the gluten side on a piece of paper, stuck his hand in the gluten lettuce, and he went to put it on the bread. And I'm like, no, 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 stop. And he had put it on there. And I'm like, yeah, you got to remake that, guy. He's like, what do you mean? Why would I have to remake this? I was like, because it's not gluten free anymore. You just use the gluten lettuce. And he's like looking at me like I'm a moron. And he's like, I am certified for allergens. And
Somebody didn't listen.
yeah, no, like, and then I was like, hey, we've come here 6 times. Nobody's ever done this. And I was like, you know what? And he was making it into an issue. And I was like, no, hey, it's fine. Have a good day. And we started
Yeah.
walking out. And as I walked out, he said, you're a liar. And I have a hard time with stuff like that. And
Oh no, you call me because I
luckily,
don't. Mm-mm.
luckily, I have a belly because I would have jumped over the counter. And then we called the the regional manager, and he told the regional manager basically that I was a weirdo having a hard time with him and blah blah blah. And then he hands me the phone, and it like his screen looked like he ran it over 100 times. And I was like, no, I don't want to have like, I don't want to get cut all over my face. Can you put it on speaker? So he did, and I'm explaining myself to the regional manager. I'm like, I'm really sorry. Hey, can I touch your phone and just turn it up? And he's like, no, no, I don't want you touching my phone. And I'm like, whatever. And the regional manager's like, yeah, I don't really know what you want me to do. Uh, we can offer to make you a new one, or like, yeah. I was like, no, I just want to know if you think it's appropriate for your employees to call your customers liars. And well, no, I don't. Well, I don't know the situation. Like, well, the situation is your employee called me a liar. And yeah, well, no, that's not really appropriate. I was like, oh, okay. Well, he's like, I don't know what you want from me, so yeah. And I was like, okay. And I called corporate, and they sent me an email, and I explained everything, and they just blew us off. And I'm just like, I I can't even look at that place anymore. Like
Yeah,
my
just no
haircut
more.
place is right next door, and every time I walk up and see him like there, I'm gonna throw a brick.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a burger at a place and I had said no onions and they put onions on it. So I took it back and I was like, hey, I said no onions. It's on the receipt. Um, and normally they'll just remake it, but instead they just took it and pulled the onions off. And I was like, no, but as I explained, I'm allergic to onions, so like I need fresh stuff. And then
There's
they
onion juice
yeah,
everywhere.
like I'm like, I'll be sick for 4 days. Like I can't do this. So they remake a new one and I go to take a bite of it and you can tell that they forgot again because there was still onion juice on it. And I told her and she was like, I don't think that onion allergy is really a thing. And she just became like really like difficult with me. So I just
Hmm.
left the food and I was like, I want my money back and left. And I've never been back to that restaurant like again because I was
Yeah,
so offended.
yeah. Wow. Just the. I don't think you're that allergic.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
that's that doesn't really make you sick.
Yeah. I mean, and that's not the first person to tell me that onion allergy isn't real. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. It's the first time I ever heard of it, but like, I believe you. Like,
and
you're gonna
I'm
know
not
way
alone.
better than me.
There's like, I mean,
Yeah,
there's a
no,
lot
like,
of people that like have issues with it. It's just that it's not accommodated. It's,
right,
like,
yeah. One of the cool things about the European food packaging is their laws and their regulations on labeling allergens are so much better than
yeah,
ours.
not our natural flavors, which could be anything. That was like I used to like eating impossible meat, just it just tastes good, especially in pasta sauce. But I had tried Beyond Meat,
Hmm.
and it doesn't say that there's onions on there anywhere. That's actually bundled in the natural flavors label. And
Hmm.
I found that by looking on the Facebook group because other people who are allergic were also reacting to their stuff, and they were like, there has to be
Hmm.
onions in it because you know and yeah, I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm not buying their stuff.
I worked at a grocery store, and somebody came up with the impossible, like there's sausage, there's all kinds of stuff now. It
Yeah,
used to just be like the one thing,
yeah,
but they brought it up, and the UPC didn't work. And which isn't a big deal in grocery stores. Like, you can see the price on it, and you can type it in under some, you can type it in. And I looked at it, and like we have the meat button, and then you have grocery, and you have other, and I'm like,
Those all apply.
Um, hey, I appreciate your time, and I don't want to keep you up too late. So I would love to hang out again sometime, but this was awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Thanks for jumping up and being like, I want to do it, 'cause that was awesome. I
yeah,
was like, yes. And I'll let you know when I'm posting it if you have any links, like a website or anything you want me to
no,
include. Yeah, but
no, I'm
uh,
fine. You will just I'll send everybody to you.
okay, cool. Thanks. And
Yeah,
I appreciate your support, and thanks again for the
keep
Amazon
it
gift
up.
card. That
You're
was
awesome.
awesome. So thank
See,
you.
now I
I
gotta
haven't
hide this from my wife. She's gonna find out about the Amazon gift card.
I can't.
I'm kidding.
I'm like, oh no. All
Yeah.
right. Well, thank you, and talk
Yeah,
to you
have a good
again
one.
sometime. Yep. Bye.
Yep. Bye.
Hi again. I just wanted to take a minute to remind you guys that I have a Patreon. I post all episodes there with no ads. So, if you don't have a paid subscription to Spotify or YouTube and you're getting ads and that annoys you, Patreon is a place that you can get them without ads. I really appreciate all of my patrons for the support and helping me combat imposter syndrome and stuff like that. I also send out postcards and other perks to my patrons, and yeah, so that that is my blatant self promotion done with. Have a good rest of your day.